609 2144.
AskingRadio.com app available on Android and iOS devices. Download now.
Showing you wrong from right. I'll let you guide me. Just stay beside me. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am lucky. I am lucky. You are my favorite song. I am lucky. Seasons change, but you're the same. Your love is constant. You've never lost it. Your voice is calling out my name. It makes me miss you, even when I'm with you. Oh, nobody wants to go it alone, and I just wanna stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am lucky. I am lucky. You are my favorite song. I am lucky. I am lucky. I am
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And my name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I'm here with
Felicity Girgir.
And Speedy Talk is a program for the youth where we talk about things that concern and affect the youth. And today on Speedy Talk, we are going to be talking about school life. School is one of the those experiences that almost everyone has a story about. For some people, it was a great period of their lives. For others, it was stressful, confusing, or filled with experiences they would rather not repeat. And school life is not just about going to class, writing exams, and getting grades. There are friendships, there are relationships, there's pressure, there's rules, temptation, mistakes, competition, punishment, financial problems, whatever it is. There are so many things when it comes to like school life. Some people are still students and are currently living through those experiences. Some people are about to, and I feel like this one is going to be like a good one for them to actually know what they'll be expecting. Of course, not everybody's experiences is going to be the same, but sometimes, most of the time, if you ask most students, their experiences is somehow close to each other. It's similar, things like that. So let us talk about school life today, and while others have graduated and can now even look back and see how much school actually shaped them. Maybe some of the things that they were able to like survive whether in university days, secondary school days, because both of them, I think those are the two places that when we talk about school life, I feel that that's where people mostly look at. So let us talk about that today. What was school life really like for you, and how did you maybe navigate everything that came with being a student? How did you survive some of the things? Some people tell you, if I tell you what I went through in school, you will not believe it. So what are the things, maybe some of those, whether pressures or even the good parts, some things that you actually experience that you feel that anyone a young person who is about to get into school, this is the time, right? This is that time,
Yes.
admissions, even when it comes to the secondary, even when it comes to like university. It's this time, right? So like tell us about it. What is something, how did you navigate those ups and downs in school? What were the up and downs? Because for different people there are different ups and downs. Now you also can call in and be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464.
That's 0808 427 5464.
It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makudi. So you can watch live on Facebook and even leave a comment if you have something to say. We are talking about school life. What was your own experience? The pressure, the temptation, whatever that you face. Felicity, are you a student or you're in between?
I'm
about
a student.
A student. Okay. Which student? Like which student?
University
currently?
Student.
That means you have experienced
secondary school.
The secondary,
yes.
And then you're experiencing a touch of. You are not completed it yet.
I'm not completed.
Okay.
Yes.
So how was it really like for you? Was it or is it? Both of them. I don't know which one you want to talk about.
Quite hard.
Okay.
Quite hard. Like adjusting can be quite hard. And then for secondary school, I would say it was quite hard to adapt. Like the first time I actually went there, because I entered like secondary school really young, so adapting was hard, because at that time I did not even like really understand so many things. So for me it was hard, because I was trying to adapt to that secondary boarding school system, the whole system, and I was somebody that used to like sleep. So imagine like liking sleep or loving sleep, and then being in a boarding school where you have to wake up 4 a.m. So that was also another challenge that I had. Even academics, I had challenges with my acad before I finally adapted and adjusted to all those academics and everything like that. So it was quite hard. And for university, I think university I do not really have that much.
It's easier than
it's easier because
for you.
I don't know, but I just feel like secondary school prepared me for university, boarding school, because it's quite similar. I would just say that university is quite easier. It's doing me like you're the first person that will actually say this thing. No, actually I'm talking about like it's still hard. It's still hard. I mean, the things that will happen and the experience and all of that, academics, the things that you need and you're under pressure and all of that. But I'll just say in a way secondary school kind of prepared me
for university. It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and this afternoon on the show we are talking about school life. How was yours really like, or how is it really like if you're there right now? The pressures, the ups and downs. Tell us about it, because for some people even ask them and they'll be like, money problems number one. Money problems when it comes to like school life. Money problems, and then waking up some days and then not even you're thinking how you manage the career that is meaning, or maybe things like that, or you're thinking about how you're going to cope even academically, or trying to meet up with time, different things like that. And then sometimes you're able to like learn something even from there. So how would you prepare someone else's mind? Because this is that season that you find a lot of young persons, whether the ones that are getting to secondary school, the ones they are going into university. And we had this, I don't know if it's just me, but from movies, the movie that we used to see back then, university life is just like all those classy, they'll just wake up, dress up, they have makeup, you see different actors and they're talking. It's all like, it was more like relationships and all those. So you just think that that's how I'll go to university, I'll wear my high heels, nothing, everything is just going to be easy. I never see them even studying even when I saw them studying, maybe something was like going to happen in that lecture hall. That's why they'll places like that. So getting into the university, I'm like, is this really like they did not actually prepare us? So when it comes to like the things that we used to, me and personally I used to see on TV, the things I used to watch, I was like this one is different. So
It's
like
different.
the reality is actually different, or that one is happening somewhere else. I wouldn't know until someone that is happening, it's actually easier on their side. They can let us know. And the number for you to call is 0808 427 5464.
That's 0808 427 5464.
It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. You can call in and tell us how your school life was, the ups and downs, whether with friendships, but sometimes even with bullying, because there are tougher
Yes,
things. Sometimes even with bullying, or sometimes maybe you just okay, there was this one teacher that I always had this issue. If I knew, I should have avoided, at this point, this teacher was always speaking on me, or maybe this student, maybe school rules that you found, some kind of things that
you did not understand.
you did not understand until you actually left, or maybe you're struggling with academics. And if you say that academics, like I would relate it to secondary school, because I know you mentioned that.
Yes.
For me, the university was not like it wasn't the one that I struggled like that with academic, but it's still secondary school at first.
struggled.
And I don't even know if I should say I struggled, because I wasn't like actually struggling. Like I wasn't even trying to be better at first.
Yes, it was towards the end.
Yes,
that I got that zeal to like, okay.
And
let me sit up.
I didn't even know that, okay, maybe people actually would read their books after maybe they have finished teaching the class. When people are passing exams and stuff, I would just think that, okay, maybe it's what they taught in class, that they are so smart, and they caught everything. Of course, there are some things that you actually catch in your head, but then people actually would go back and read, and then I didn't know. Because when we come for night preps, people would just be sleeping, they'll come out before they wipe you cane at your back, and you stand up, and all those things. But then I don't know, me with my love for sleep, then I wasn't really actually reading.
Sleeping.
So I went from taking, everyone says I used to carry first, and I used to carry, I think maybe I'm the only person in the world that used to carry first. So because I know I got as bad as, I went as bad as even 30th position. I went as bad as that.
Why is your experience similar to mine? The first, but my just one. That was my first one. It was 30th.
Oh my God. Okay.
I
guess it's not only me.
And in my primary school, I was always first. So it was like a wake up, like, what are you doing? Like, what do you mean I went from first position in primary school to 30th? But my average was really good.
Yeah.
So when I took the results, like, to my parents, they were like, you just went in, not thinking. But me, as somebody that hates failure, I took it serious.
Okay.
So from there, I started, but I still did not really like take it serious. Like, I just wanted to move from that 30th position, because in my head I was like, what do you mean I'm like 30th?
I didn't even get that zeal quickly, because again, there were so many people in the class. Although you know how 30th sounds heavy, but they were like, okay, maybe 60% in one class. We're so many, But then, like, how 30th to be, and I'll come back on the first time. Hi, you tried, like you tried your best. And one thing about academics for me in school, I was always at the verge of, okay, maybe the pass average is like 45, then maybe I'll be 46 or 47. You know how somebody just escapes small. I don't know why I was usually there, but then later on, I think just to it even became even worse. And then it's like in SS1 that I started wising up, like I started taking it seriously.
That was the least for me, because I started moving. I remember I started going to, before I was 15th. I was battling 13th, 14th, 15th, and then from SS1 it was like 6th, 4th,
exactly
6th, 4th, like 5th, 4th.
Now you see, there was a time that I actually I got to the point that I took that 3rd position, and then I went home, and then they were so happy and everything. The average was good, all those things. And one thing about my school, there was this embarrassing thing where there was first 3 and then last 3. For tests, just test, when they write tests, the first 3 persons, they're pasting it on the notice, but your name, your full name, your class, everything there, and then the last 3, they are also pasting it on the. I know there was one time that I even came out of the last year, and I had to like pretend like I was not feeling fine, and then but then there was a time that I now came the first 3 again, so like I lifted myself. So by the time I started taking that 3rd position, when I went home, and then I think the next time I now took 6th, my parents were now asking like, why would you go backward like this? I said, have people forgotten that I used to take 30 years and you did not say anything, and all of a sudden.
For me, like when I moved away from all those 13th, 14th, and all of that. And I was always battling between 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 5th, 4th. So, and it was from SS1. The way I used to read back then.
Okay.
Hey, the way I used to read, everybody was like, some people used to even call me nerd.
Okay.
And all of that back in
all
school.
right. So you also can call in and be part of the show. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464.
That's 0808 427 5464.
It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and we are talking about school life. You can also watch us live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Markudi, and even leave a comment if you have something to say. How was your own school life, or how is it going right now? Whether the university, whether the secondary school, something that you think that maybe some of the things we even say, I wish I knew back then, I should have been like this. How was your own school life? What did school actually shape you to? Because there were some people that were even very stubborn, and then they just went to school, and then that whole stubbornness, just disappeared, and then some things, different things like that. Let us hear you. Now, something else I would say, I mentioned it before, money problems. Did you ever have like money problems in school?
Secondary school, no. But
Okay.
university,
Is it that say there's no problem in university now?
That's what I said about some issues. There are some issues, but then I would say secondary school kind of like prepared me. But money problems, because it's more of like university. There's billing like everywhere. Like, okay, before you hear you need to pay for this one,
This
you need to pay for this handout.
It's a very important
this one. Practical, this one. There are lots of things. So it's more of like the moment money enter your hand, I don't know if like there's somebody or something notifying them that, oh, you have money now, before pay for this one. This lecturer said we should contribute like this. Like we're supposed to contribute the class dues, departmental fee. Hey,
okay.
So the money problems are definitely there.
I feel like money problems is one thing that if you ask every student, like that's the first thing that they'll say, okay, it's money, or like that's if you just ask what is the issue or what is the problem for a student, like it's money.
It's money.
Sometimes maybe there are even days that you're waking up and wondering like how you're even getting to school, or for people like that. For me, like it was within the school, but then my own school now, they do not used to cook. If you don't have money, your own has finished. You have to buy food, because there's sometimes, okay, maybe for some students they'll say, I don't have money, but like I have some things in the kitchen. We didn't used to cook, so if you don't have money, the university, your own has finished. And that that actually reminded me of some things in secondary school. Then okay, your meal is obviously there, like it's prepared. You don't have to worry about, okay, you're the one that's paying or things like that. But there are still days that it will not reach you. And you know what my school used to do? They'll give you gari the day that it did not reach you. Like if it's a few persons, if it was like, okay, quite maybe a big number, they'll have to make
it again,
but maybe it's like one person and you're now the unlucky person. They'll give you gari, like just go and manage your life. Imagine how that feels. And you see, the beginning of school for me, like for the boarding school, waking up on time and then like trying to catch up, and then with every day, like I was always late, if not for my school mother, then for us, we have school mother, if not for her, then I wonder what I would have actually been. That waking up late, I never used to hear the bell. I don't know how come people
it's like it's ringing but you cannot hear. And then some people that are around you say, all these corner people, I don't know, it's quite wicked, because what do you mean? Okay, you wake up while you're doing it, somebody is sleeping, you cannot wake the person.
Exactly. And sometimes maybe they'll allow it, and then they are waiting for, okay, let's use the person and catch cruise. Like, okay, when you wake up late, do not start laughing at you or things like that. It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. This afternoon on the show, we are talking about school life. You also can call in and be part of the show. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464.
That's 0808 427 5464.
And we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Markudi. So you can watch live on Facebook and even leave a comment if you have something to say. School life, what was your own experience, or what are you experiencing right now? What are your own ups and downs? Life as a student, it's like this, it's like that. Let us hear your own.
And then you mentioned something about food back in secondary school. So for us, it was more of like, okay, based on classes, everybody had, okay, this is table this is table this, table 7, table 1, table 2, table 3, but it's based on classes. So every class had their table 1 to table 10 or whatever, depends on your how large you people are.
Okay.
So it's more of, okay, I was a chorister back then, so you know how choir practice, I don't know if it's very like with every school, but choir practice always like runs late past dinner time and all of that. So if you don't have somebody that will keep your food for you, I remember that almost every time, like every single time, I don't used to eat every time, like my table members don't used to keep food for me. Back then it was hard because it's more like, okay, after choir practice I'll now go to the refectory. I'll go to the refectory only to discover that, oh, they have already eaten and finished and they did not keep food for me. Okay. And so that thing, and then it's time for night preps. Okay. And then I did not carry food to school, or my provisions are finished. Okay. So,
how did you survive the secondary school, ups and downs, the different ones? And again, I forgot to ask, did you actually maybe experience some form of like bullying?
No.
Okay, because you were tough, Abi, they did not come to you.
I was quiet.
You're quiet, and you don't know there's a quiet people that usually
and I was not stubborn. Okay. I used to always mind my business, like mind my business, and I used to always. I can't remember myself like going through bullying. The only time that ever flogged me in school was when it was general like flogging.
No, so you don't ever do anything wrong. I was now. Wow, are you sure you remember clearly? Like you didn't ever do anything wrong.
From my memory, it was always general flogging, or maybe it was always general, or maybe they say okay, people that failed. No, it was always general. Okay, it was always general. They never like said, Felicity, you did this particular thing. No. All punishment.
Right. And then even students like bullying. When I asked that, I was even talking about sometimes it's like the students themselves. Some of the things that people actually face there. And then sometimes you even be scared of maybe saying it to your parents, maybe sometimes your school mother is doing this, or this person in school is doing this. For me, it was more like collecting provisions and all those distance, and then I would not be able to say it. You would not be able to
say anything. Yes. I remember a situation. I had a school mother that, because she had never seen me cry, there was one particular evening that she was like, today I want to see your tears. She flogged me.
The way that those people in school, just imagine that.
I just remembered it, like the way she flogged me that particular evening. It was during night prep, and you know that as a senior you don't really have to, you can do whatever you want and all of that, unless like there's a teacher, a staff on duty or night duty. So that night there was no staff on duty, or was it that there was a staff but she was not around or something like that. So she just came for me. I've never seen you cry, I want you to cry today.
Just imagine. And all those kind of things, and they'll finish. Sometimes they'll finish and then maybe try to like be friendly with you or just play with you and all those things. But it was actually bullying. If you look at it now, it's just like we did not have the words or the terms to like describe those things back then. But if you sit now and then look at some things that used to happen back then, you will know that okay, this one was bullying. It's Speedy Talk on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and my name is Marysyntia Hangeior. I'm here with
Felicity Girgir, and
this afternoon on the show we are talking about school life. You also can call in and be part of the show. Number for you to call is 0808 427 5464.
That's 0808 427 5464.
And we are also streaming live on Facebook at Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM Makri. So you can watch live on Facebook and even leave a comment if you have something to say. School life, how was your own life? How did you survive the ups and downs, whether in secondary? How are you surviving if you're even in the university now? I remember I asked you, how are you surviving now? Because you spoke about money issues in university. Did you say that money issues?
Yes.
For you. How are you surviving?
I'm just so I don't. If you ask me that question, I'll always say like I don't know, because it's more of like I don't even know, because it's like at some point, okay, your money are finished. I don't even know how I used to be able to transport myself from school, or where the money used to always come from. But there are definitely times that you'll be like broke, like broke, like, and you just have to chin up and maybe like ask for help, for assistance or for help. And then another thing about school in general. School.
Hello. All right, that already went off. I think it's not off, but you can still call us back.
And
Go on.
then another thing that I would say, this one is like school in general, is that experience of, like having to not listen to what people say.
Okay.
Because people, that about one thing about people is that people always like talk.
Okay.
Like they are always talking. Oh, you did this, whether it's good or bad, and it's bad, people will always talk. So I feel like another thing I had to really like teach myself was not to like listen to what people are saying and just like do what I'm doing, so long as I know that okay, this particular thing I'm doing, okay, this is what I'm going to get from it, and if it's right or if it's wrong, it's definitely something I have to teach myself. Because at some point when people are like talking too much, I'll just be like, maybe I should just stop doing it, even if it's something that I enjoy doing, especially in secondary school. But now too, people still do that, but now it's more of like I've grown to
past that. It cannot get to your head.
It cannot, like, nobody at this point, it's very hard
and
to
you know
get to my
something
head.
else about school life, friendships and relationships, if you get into the wrong one, your whole existence in that school, like,
yes,
it has, I don't even know if I should say it has okay, your existence have not finished, obviously, but the way your life will be so like
hard.
to the wrong part. Maybe you came and then you met the wrong person. If you're listening right now, you're about to get into school, you know what we are talking. This one is exactly for you. Like, you're taking note of some of these things. It's time for you to actually shine your eye, or you have someone that is going, the kind of things that you actually be telling them about. And I was talking about friends, right? Like, if you just get into the wrong group of friends, your name, everything,
reputation,
like your
everything.
whole reputation, and people just recognize you for, okay, this person is a stubborn one, or you do not fall on that side of maybe people that are actually serious. Like, you see me, when it comes to academic struggles, I said in my year one, like when I got into university, I didn't struggle with academics or anything like that, because okay, from the start I even had fear of like that feeling. The way we say you will have carryover. Once you have carryover, like this one has finished for you, this and that. And I was so scared. Back then, they didn't even get me an Android phone on time.
Okay.
I just had that. Is it Touchlight? We used to call it.
Phone.
Yes, one of those Chinko phone. But you used to browse. I don't know how. Does it still browse? Yes, you used to browse then.
I don't think so.
And I'll be checking. Do you know that I used to read with that phone, like on it, and then I'll be reading in the night. Tears will be falling from my eyes to the book, just because okay, I'm so scared of that carryover. And first semester, my GP was like, wow. I was even the type that would even call home and say, okay, this is my results, things like that. Let them be happy for me and all those things like that. So, and one thing I would also say contributed, the friends that I met that time, it wasn't people that will make me careless about, or my own, I had my own fears, like I don't want to fail. But then I was still in the circle of people that, I don't know, people that were alike. Like we're kind of alike when it comes to okay, they also had that fear. I don't want to come up with this. So and then speaking of carryover, you see that carryover, me personally I did not have, but then the way you see some people's life, like they'll be so full of frustration because of that carryover. And some courses, the moment you carry over, like that is automatic spill. You would have to come back again.
For me, I've not had any experience with carryover. Thank God. Thank God, because I cannot even imagine where I would start from.
How long do you still have, sir?
Just a year.
Okay.
So I cannot like imagine like where we even start from with carryover. And then speaking about friends, the kind of friends that I like have is let me say they don't used to read till it's exam time, like exam period. But like I was saying earlier, but I've reached this point where it's very hard for somebody to influence me. So even if I have this kind of person that is around me, safe, you can be doing your thing. If I tell you, okay, let's read. If you don't want to read, good and fine. Me, I'll go ahead and be reading my thing.
My fears will not even let me get influenced.
So it's very hard for me to like get influenced. For somebody to before somebody like influences me, it takes like a lot. So I'm not
then
easily
peer
influenced.
pressure and the rest.
It doesn't. It's
and
not me.
my friends. There's one particular friend that used to accuse me that I'm hiding to read. I say I'm not hiding. It's you that is not reading. I'm not hiding to read, because she'll say, okay, how come like when we are writing the exam, I will know. I said I'm not hiding to read. You know that I'm. Do you know she used to stand up? Her room was upstairs. She would stand up from her room and then come to check downstairs if I'm reading. I'm like, what is it?
She thinks she is reading and leaving them behind.
Exactly. I don't even know why that there's that competition with reading, but the point is school, whether university secondary school, there are definitely ups and downs when it comes to like school life. But then what matters is maybe you being able to like know on time and then recognize, which is why this is actually important, because some people will be able to like recognize some of those things when they, I heard someone talk about something like this before, so maybe this is the time to say it. It's not to scare you if you're going there, it's just for you to like shine your eyes, or else like I mean, every month or every time you come back home, like people will be looking at you and it will just look like, okay, your owners, whatever is wrong with you, they can actually tell from your face. So that is it for Speedy Talk today on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I've been your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and I've been here with
Felicity Girgir,
and we have been talking about school life. Coming up next at 3:55 p.m. if today is your birthday, then Speedy Kids are going to be wishing you a happy birthday. And also up next at 4 p.m. the speed lane comes on. So stay right here with us and keep enjoying music of your life.
Hello, my cutie. Asking